guys, and welcome to my channel. My name is Veronica, aka Littlemisskinxpert. In today's video, I am going to show you guys how I created my second Game of Thrones look using the, of course, infamous Game of Thrones palette by Urban Decay. And I'm really, if you guys haven't seen my first video that I did, I will link it down below for you guys to check it out. And I'm doing a much more dramatic look using the blue shades in this palette. So anyways, without further ado, let's get started. And guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. All right, so I went ahead and I already did my brows off camera, as well as putting these shadow shields on. You can either do shadow shield, or you could just take a makeup wipe and just wipe away the excess, giving you that angular, sharp edge, if that's the look you're going for. And of course, that's the look I'm going for today. So I wasn't sure exactly which look I wanted to do, because I've already focused on my other video, which I will link below for you guys, on the blues. So I've already done a look using the blues, so I kind of want to use, either the purples or some of these grungy colors here that are earthy tones. I think for today we're gonna go for it. We're gonna use some of these purples today. So the first shade in the palette that I'm gonna go in with is this shade called House Lannister. This is a good shade to start off with. As you guys saw me in the last Game of Thrones video, I did use House Lannister. And damn those House Lannister. They're still in the running. Okay, no spoilers. Can't do that. And guys, if you guys have been watching Game of Thrones, please don't spoil it for anyone else in case they still want to watch it and they're just trying to wait for the season to end so then they can just binge watch it. But anyways. Okay, and of course the second shade in the palette that I'm going to go in with, because there's only 3 matte shades to work with here, is this shade called Nymeria. I am not in any way trying to be disrespectful to Urban Decay, because you know what? They created this beautiful palette for everyone, and I appreciate how they designed this. It takes a lot of thought and a lot of people that are involved in the design to create something like this. So bravo, and to Urban Decay. Their formula, obviously, you guys, if you've ever used Urban Decay shadows, they blend like a dream. They are really, really good. That's what they're known for, are their shimmer shades and how just pigmented that they really are, without really having to worry about packing so much on. I mean, I would have liked to have seen like a couple of mattes, because it does make it a lot easier as a makeup artist to work with some mattes and making a very intense look, to even like a smoky look, to just a wearable daytime look. So, but going in with Nymeria, I'm just basically going in and warming up the outer edge and the crease, defining it out more. So I am going to go in with this shade called Stormborn, and this is just a nice, beautiful purpley shade, and it's got some pink reflex in there. So let's just see how this goes. But just some kind of fluffy packing brush is a really good brush to use. I'm just going to kind of go halfway. I'm going to play with this a little bit. I am seeing some fallout come from that shade, so just keep that in mind, that when you're working with this shadow, to either not do your base first, or if you already did your base, then maybe pack on some translucent loose powder along the bottom of your eyes, so that way when you are packing this shade on, it's not going to leave you with a bunch of fallout specks. Never really liked using shadow shields. I'll tell you why. Because it's like, okay, so I've just added it basically to half of this lid area, but this lid space, I still want it to be a little bit deeper. So I'm going to go in with this shade called Weirwood Leaves. This is a nice plummy, purpley shade. It's not focused. There we go. I'm just going to go in like that. And just basically, I'm just going to kind of play with it to see how deep this gets. And go from there. Remember, you can always add, you can't take away unless you just wipe it off and start over, which is good too. So as you can see, I've just kind of deepened out this outer corner here, and I'm using a very small blending brush to do that. And then what I have done is I've taken my finger, because Urban Decay's shadows do very well when you in fact use your finger, and then I just kind of re-added and applied the shade Stormborn again, just to intensify it more. And so that's where we're at right now. Another way to also intensify this shade even more without using the finger and you want to use a brush, I would suggest using a synthetic brush that is damp. Just spray on some Fix Plus or setting spray to the brush, and then, you know, go ahead and just pat it in. And what this is going to do is create the shadow to be more metallic and more pigmented than as opposed to this one where I just use the finger. But that's up to you on how intense you really want this to be. So I would just suggest, you know, depending on your look, I would recommend using a Fix Plus with a synthetic brush or just going in with your finger. I do want this outer V area to still be a little bit more intense than what it is, so I am gonna go in with the shade Take the Black, which is the black shade in the palette. There is a little bit of shimmer flecks in that particular, why is this not focusing? There we go. In that shadow, however, it doesn't really show up like that on the lid, so you could actually use this black shade as a liner. You know, you could just dampen a liner brush with some Fix Plus, and that would create a nice line. So yeah, I just kind of wanted just to intensify it a little bit more, because I just like that look. I know it just looks so like messy right now, I know, but I promise it'll all come together. Okay, so the next shade in the palette that I want to go in with is, because I'm focusing basically just in this section alone, but using like a couple shades here and there. Of course, like this one is the two transitions, and then this purpley plummy shade just to deepen it out, but it wasn't deep enough, so that's why I went in with the Take the Black. But focusing on this section here, I'm going to use the shade Bend the Knee, and I think I am going to use my synthetic brush for this one, because I think it's going to need a little bit of assistance in picking up that pigment, and I want it to really stand out. So like another way I could do it is I could actually do a half cut crease, and I could just go ahead and just apply it on top of the concealer, and that's going to give me that look. Or I could just wet the brush, and which is what I'm going to do today, because I don't want to do all that work. And I'm going to go in, oh yes, interesting, and I'm going to use this. FYI, this is the first impressions for me on this section anyway. And I'm gonna just pull it towards the center of the eye. So it's like an ombre effect. You're basically getting a gradient effect from lightest to darkest. So basically the name of the game is just apply, reapply. And so I went ahead and went back into Stormborn using this wet synthetic brush. I did have to use the same one. I have another one, but I can't find it right now. And wiping the excess away from the other shadow, I just added it to the center, and then going into Weirwood Leaves again and deepening out this outer V, because I want this look to look very blended and smoked out. So I'm just taking my time and packing the shades together and melding everybody together like that. I kind of want to add this Bay of Dragons right on top here, and it is going to change this look probably. I'm not going to doubt to that, but I kind of want to add it to the mix here. And I'm just dabbing it along here onto the on top of the shadow. So this is what it's kind of starting to look like. I don't know if I like that. Shit. Okay, I have to take these shadow shields off because they're so uncomfortable for me. I never liked them. Ow! But there's that sharp edge. So that's looking pretty cool. Oh man. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and just do my base off camera, and then I will be back and we will just finish up the eye look. All right, so I went ahead and I just did my base off camera. I'll have all the details for that at the bottom of the video for you guys in case you guys want to know what I used. Okay, but let's finish up the eye look. So the way I like to do a look like this is I kind of go backwards. So I like to work with my darks first, and then I transition into my lighter shades. So the first shade that I'm going to go in with is take the black, and I'm going to use a very small smudger brush like this and apply it to the outer corner of the eye. I am going a little bit on the low side with this shade just because once I blend it all through, it kind of gets a little bit lighter and more diffused. This is a great brush. This is the Morphe M213 brush. Okay. The next shade in the palette that I'm going to go in with is this shade called Stormborn for the next section here of the eye. It's basically like I'm mimicking what I did on top now to the bottom. And I'm using the same smudger brush here. I'm just kind of blending it into the black shade that I used. Like that. Okay, and then the last shade that I'm going to go in with is this shade Bend the Knee, and I think I'm going to use my finger for that. So just taking Bend the Knee. And pulling it into the shade Stormborn. So it's looking like that so far. Okay, so I'm going to lightly go in with the shade House Lannister, and I'm going to just blend these darker shades out. Just kind of helps to clean up and tie the look together a lot more. Okay. I want to use a combination of two things here. I want to use the shade Dothraki, which is a deeper gold shade, and I want to use King's Landing as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my finger, and I'm going to just tap it into this inner corner of the eye a little bit. So as you can tell, it doesn't really show up that much on me, which is the reason why I want to go in with King's Landing. And what I would like to do is I'm going to blend the shades together, but I want to wet my pencil brush to intensify that shade King's Landing, because it is a more of a muted down yellowy shade, yellow gold shade. So I want to really make this pop. So by wetting the brush, that is going to do that for me. Like that. So as you can see there, it's just kind of giving that more of a yellow hue to it, which is really in right now, and I really like that. So I want to make this pop. Okay. For mascara today, I'm going to be using the Climax mascara by NARS. I've already started applying it. I've been kind of playing with this mascara. One of the things that I really like about it is the wand, the brush. And I also like that it is a little bit on the drier side with the formula. And for me, with the drier formula, it does help give my lashes more of a boost in the lift. So I look like I have more volume. When the mascara takes too long to set up, it does weigh my lashes down too much. So I do tend to like to look for a mascara that has a drier formula. For blush today, I'm going to use the shade LoveCloud. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you guys know that I love this blush so much, and I use it for a lot of looks. And I typically do like to use MAC's blushes because they have such great, they have a good formula. And it just gives it a really nice flush of color. So it's not like overly rosy on the cheek, which I really like. Just to set my skin and kind of meld everything down, I'm going to use the MAC Prep and Prime Fix Plus, but this is their new Cherry Blossom one, and I have been loving this scent. It's the same formula, it just has a really nice fresh scent. And then to highlight today, I'm going to use the Amrezy highlighter by Anastasia Beverly Hills. I've loved this highlighter. You know, I didn't like it at first because when I would put it on, it looked too powdery and it wouldn't really show up on my skin. And so one of the ways that I like to use it is when I use it wet. So I'll either wet the brush or I'll dampen my face first, and when it's kind of on the brink of almost being done and dry, then I will go in with this highlighter. So I'm just adding a little bit to the brow. I don't have much of a brow bone, but I like to put it there. Well guys, that completes the look. I like the way it turned out, actually, you know, with using those purple shades. I know it can be tricky to just use only shimmer shades, but like it's still doable, it's still workable. So don't be discouraged, you know, because there's a lot of shimmers versus mattes. I still think it's a great palette to own. I think there's a lot of beautiful shades to choose from in this palette. Urban Decay, of course, you guys should know that they are quality. And yeah, you could create a lot of fun looks, but this is the second look that I created from this collection. And I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya!